Would you like to stop dieting and never have to diet again? Ta-da! Well, in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how intuitive eating can help get off that diet cycle. Hi, I'm Vanessa McLennan and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I talk about all things eating habits, weight loss, intuitive eating, emotional eating. What I do is help you get to that root cause of your eating habits so that you can ditch that diet for good. So keep watching, because I will be giving you some tips on how you can start intuitive eating so that you can lose weight without having to diet. Intuitive eating is just simply eating what you want whenever you want. And I hear you going, really? Really? Is it really that simple? Well, yes and no. What we are doing is just simply a normal way of eating. It is just being in tune with ourselves. It's knowing what we like, knowing what actually our body needs. It's knowing what is good for us. It's knowing those hunger cues, the physical hunger, when we are hungry, when it is time to eat, when it's time to nourish our body, when our body wants a bit more water, for instance, it needs hydrating. That is being in tune, and that is intuitive eating. For instance, you might wake up and not be hungry, but convention and advice out there tells us, no, we must eat this big hearty breakfast to, fill us up and get us going for the day. And so what then you end up doing is going, well, that's what the books have told me, that's what the internet tells me, so I'd better eat a massive breakfast. But you're not hungry. So what you end up doing is ignoring your body's signals and overriding that by eating this full breakfast that you don't want. So intuitive eating is listening to that body and going, I'm not hungry, so therefore I don't need food yet, so I'm not going to eat. It's also learning the other way round when you are hungry. So for instance, let's say it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and your body is giving you signals, your stomach is growling and it's like, it's going, I'm hungry. But convention again, or the workplace environment might tell us, well, now is not the time to eat because it's not lunchtime and it's not certainly, going home time. So therefore I can't eat. But if you are hungry, intuitive eating is, well, no, I'm hungry. So actually, this is what my body needs right now, is some nourishment. It needs some food. And it's also being really in tune as to perhaps the type of foods or what foods that we really, really want. So for instance, it's learning to distinguish the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. When we are in tune with our body and we are in touch with our physical hunger, and we can start really knowing what our bodies want, we can then give it the foods that it tells us. I do believe that our bodies instinctively know, when we don't override these signals, we're really in tune, what foods that we need and for what reason. So for instance, when I was pregnant, I was really craving avocados, grapefruit and coconut water. And I just thought, this is really strange. Why am I wanting this? And when I looked up at the nutrition facts about them, they had cell building nutrients in them. And I'm like, that's interesting. So that's why I believe that our bodies instinctively tell us what it is that we need. They also instinctively tell us, don't they, if we're in tune, do we need a pick-me-up? So is that emotional hunger? Do we need some sugar? Do we need a high? Do we need to actually do a calm down? Or do we actually just, is it physical hunger? Are we just really, really hungry? So why do you want to start intuitive eating? Well, the trouble is, many of us have been on a diet, for years and years and years, and our life has been, calorie controlled, weighing out foods that are good, foods that are bad, foods that you can't, have, restriction, deprivation and sins, for food. Now, eating this way may have been really, really helpful to a lot of people to get them on that first hurdle, to losing weight. But generally, in the long run, it is not sustainable. It's not sustainable because what we are doing is we are overriding our bodily clues. We are outside, we are looking for the outside fix to fix us instead of learning to listen to what we really need. When we listen to what we really, really need, it isn't chips, it isn't pizza, it isn't burgers, it's actually food in its raw, natural, healthy form. But if I let go of the diet, will I put on weight? That's what I hear from many people who are so worried about coming off this diet cycle that they don't know any other way. And they're like, well, hang on, when I do stop dieting, I do put on lots of weight. So going this way just doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive. But the more likely that we stay in this, cycle of, deprivation, of not being on that diet, of not allowing ourselves food, the longer we are going to stay in this cycle of, not being in tune with ourselves, not knowing what it is that we actually need. And then, of course, when we are focused on something, it just grows bigger. So all we know is this, can't do this, but okay, I'm going to put on weight. So you are in that mold of being, that way of living. And of course, you don't know any different, which is only natural because this is what you have known for that long period of time. However, if you want a different result, if you really want to be free of this diet, controlling cycle, then you have to do something different. And the answer is not outside of you, but the answer is within you, and hence intuitive eating. So how can it help me to lose weight? Well, we are going to be moving away from this restricting cycle because that's what we're focused on. And of course, everything that we focus on grows bigger. Everything that, we resist persists. Okay, so if we are resisting all of these foods, like, the foods that we might label as bad, chocolate, cake, but in the end, don't we end up wanting it more because we're saying to ourselves, I can't have chocolate, I can't have cake, I can't have sweets, and you just like, but I really want it. So when we come away from that and we're then in a position where we go, well, actually, I can have whatever I want. I can choose whatever I want. Just most of the time I choose not to. When you give yourself that permission to be able to choose, to be free, to have whatever you want, and that if you want to put on weight, that's okay. If you want to eat pizza and chips, that's okay. We actually then, weirdly enough, stop wanting to crave these foods so much and actually wanting to start listening to our bodies more, which will then naturally want us to eat, this healthy, nourishing food. So where do I start? Well, here are 5 tips to get you started on intuitive eating. Well, intuitive eating is about being in touch and in tune with yourself. So periodically, put your hand on your stomach and just take a deep breath and just notice how it and you feel. Are you hungry right now? Are you genuinely hungry, not emotionally hungry? Are you genuinely hungry? So in other words, is there a feeling like localized in your stomach that is perhaps a little bit tight, but that feeling might go up a little bit to your throat? That is the start and just genuine hunger. And if you're like that, then grade yourself on a 1 to 10. So 1 is not very hungry at all, but 10 is I am really, really ravenous. Then you're starting to get in tune with not just your genuine hunger, but also how hungry are you? So in other words, how quick do I then have to act to eat? Number 2, what do you really want? So you might be rushing around and then going to just, grab things out of the cupboard, going to eat. And before you do that, I'd love you to have, stickers up on your cupboard or just that mantra in your head that tells you to go, stop. What do I really want? Okay, if you can get into the practice of, just rehearsing first of all that stop, what do I really want before you go for the food, is going to help you to decide and put you in that bit more controlling position where you can go, okay, do I want these crisps? Do I really want it? Or actually, if I'm genuinely hungry, what healthier, better food can I eat for myself? So it's taking that step back and being able to make a bit more of a logical decision rather than driven by pure emotion. 3 is awareness. So take a food, any food that you are going to eat, and just eat it, and then just notice how you feel. Okay, does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel lethargic? Does it really, make you bloated? Does it make you feel alive and vibrant? And then you can start getting in tune with the foods that you like, that your body likes, and so hence then you can either choose more of them, choose less of them, or if you love it but actually it's really not that healthy for you, you can then make a choice as to how often you want to eat it. 4 is natural foods. So take a piece of fruit, take something that is in its raw, nutritious, unadulterated state, like an apple, bananas, oranges, and eat that food and just notice again how you feel. So the idea is that you start incorporating more natural foods that you might not be used to eating, your palate might not be used to eating, so that you can just notice and how alive it makes you feel and what it's like. So the idea is that the more that you eat these, healthy foods, the unhealthy foods, you can start then bringing this up, and this will naturally go down, so it ends up like this. Number 5 is exercising. Just find something that you love doing, be it walking, yoga, swimming, even just dancing in your house. Anything that just gets you into your body. What it's going to do is again take you away from the outside of yourself, bring you into your body, so that you just notice, how you feel, what feels good to move, is it enjoyable, which parts of you are stiff, which parts of you need to move more, how alive and vibrant again does it feel? Because again, the more that you can just get in tune, be in your body, the more you know it, what it wants and what it likes. So comment below if you've tried intuitive eating. How are you finding it? And what tip would you like to try? And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.